coming up.
So you have entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, willing and able to increase access to quality, affordable childcare, and you're shutting them down. Why?
As the Minister for Families and Children, have you spoken up in your Liberal cabinet against the failed drug policy experiment your government approved of in British Columbia?
This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
Welcoming Minister Sudds, Minister of Families, Children and Social Development.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Minister, for being here. Minister, Lisa Badeau, she runs 10 daycares in Nova Scotia. Thinks she could add 100 to 200 spaces. Now, you've pointed out we have a significant gap across the country of people not being able to access childcare. And she said here, and I quote, "When I met with her being you, Minister, in February, she was clear to say that Nova Scotia has never asked to have the terms of the agreement changed," almost implying that Minister Drouin, who's the minister in Nova Scotia, should ask to include private operators to expand, only to have her request denied. And so we know, Minister, that they did write a letter to you, and you are on the record saying, you know, if the provinces would be more flexible, or if they come and ask, I will work with them. And we have that here. And the minister has said from Nova Scotia, she indicated that the federal government has no appetite to renegotiate the agreements. So you have entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, willing and able to increase access to quality, affordable childcare, and you're shutting them down. Why?
I would actually wholeheartedly agree with that premise, respectfully. The childcare workforce across this country is 96% female.
You said you'd agree with it wholeheartedly?
I disagree with it
Okay,
wholeheartedly.
you said agree.
I disagree with that premise wholeheartedly in that, first of all, the workforce is 96%
Ms. Limited, and it
female.
is my time, Minister. So you're disagreeing that the province has come to you, asked for help. You have these private operators, and just for the record, Minister, this is your Liberal MP colleague, Cody Bloy from King's Hans, who wrote a email April 22nd, 2024. I am receiving considerable number of calls from families who are unable to find a childcare space in their local area. Minister, when I look at the expansion projects across the province, we have tremendous privately incorporated operators alongside not-for-profit organizations already playing a crucial role in service delivery. He says, I am supportive of the concept of having more participation from the private sector. So why are you not listening to your own Liberal colleagues, the operators who are primarily female? You're taking away choice. You are actively destroying these women's lives. They are closing down across this country, and you're saying that's not true. They've come to you and pleaded. They're not asking for more money. They're asking for you to be flexible in the agreement, and you've said no. Why are you not listening to anyone?
You've asked a lot of questions, but haven't
It's one
given
question.
me...
Why are you not listening
There's
to
about
anyone?
5 there. But having said that, you are professing that we are ruining women's lives.
You are.
Absolutely the contrary. I speak to women across this country every day
Three
who are
families
benefiting.
can access this
May I
program.
answer the question?
1 in 3.
May I answer the question?
Please, a moment. The questions must be directed through the chair. I would remind you, Madam Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. As I said, there's a lot of questions there. I'll do my best to touch on all of them if given the opportunity.
It's one question, Minister. If you could just answer that one question. Why are you not negotiating the agreements when asked? You've said in your statement that you're about fairness. This is fairness for everybody. It's including all people.
Absolutely fairness for everybody.
So why are you not including them?
As we build this national system,
it's just a question why.
We have seen
If she would just answer the why question, that is it.
Opportunity to answer it then, Madam Minister.
Thank you very much, Chair. As I was saying, this system, this national system we're building, so far we've seen 150,000 children and families across this country benefiting. Who's benefiting? Obviously the children, but also the parents. And I would argue predominantly the women who, as we have seen in the data, are increasingly being able to re-enter the workforce. Not
So if
only
I can,
that,
Madam-
but
Mr.
as
Chair,
was pointed out,
I just need to point
the
at this.
majority.
It is
Point of
my
order,
time, Mr. Chair.
Point of order.
It is, so she's not answering the question, and it
you
is my
haven't given me
time.
a chance to.
Parents are giving
Point
up
of
their
order, Chair.
jobs as
Point of
hundreds
order.
remain stuck.
Ms. Ferrari, please.
BC Mother
Ms.
says lack of
Ferrari,
childcare could leave
Ms.
her
Ferrari,
homeless.
I have a point of order.
So, as in the first session, but particularly here, we need to hear the answers. The questions matter as much as the answers.
Thank
So
you,
can we
Mr.
hear the answers?
Fragaskatos. And again, I'll remind all members, you direct your questions through I, the chair. If you fail to do it, I'll move on to the next questioner. Ms. Ferrari?
Point of
Mr.
order,
Through
Chair.
you, Mr. Chair.
Point of order. This is, I think, the first time I've been at your committee. So when the chair is speaking, do other people have to stop talking? Is that your rule?
Yes.
Okay, because you were speaking, but Ms. Ferrari continued. So I just encourage you to, so that we can actually hear what's happening.
Thank you, Mr. Angus, for reminding. I will go to Ms. Ferrari to conclude her question, then I'll give the minister the opportunity to respond. Ms. Ferrari?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And yes, I am being assertive and fairly aggressive here because you have families, parents are giving up their jobs as hundreds remain stuck on daycare waitlists in Newfoundland. BC Mother says lack of childcare could leave her homeless. These are the articles in 3 days that I have. Families are in chaos and distress through you, Mr. Chair. So I will ask one last time, and I just want an answer, Minister, on behalf of the parents and families that you say you represent and you want to offer fairness. These operators are closing down. Please, with all due respect, answer them directly. Why are you not allowing provinces who are asking you in desperation, your own Liberal MPs, who say, I want you to include private operators? Why are you not doing that?
Thank you, Ms. Ferrari. Madam Minister, I'll give you the opportunity to respond.
Thank you very much, Chair. The agreements that were negotiated with every province and territory are intended to build a public system in which, as I mentioned, 750,000 families are benefiting from to date. And by the time these agreements finish in 2026, we'll have seen 250,000 new spaces created. At no point in history have we ever seen the expansion or the creation of spaces at this scale. And what does that translate to? That translates to more families being able to return to the workforce.
Illicit drug overdoses are now the leading cause of death among youth in British Columbia aged 10 to 18, according to figures by BC Coroner Service. And this is obviously heartbreaking. As the Minister for Families and Children, have you spoken up in your Liberal cabinet against the failed drug policy experiment your government approved of in British Columbia?
Through the chair, thank you for the question. I'm not going to disclose cabinet conversations for obvious reasons, and respectfully here to speak about items within my portfolio and mains and estimates today.
Well, Minister, in your opening statement, as the Minister for Families and Children, you talked about policies that make life better for families in Canada. So my questions are quite relevant. Have you been pushing back to ensure that your government rejects support for illicit drug legalization in Toronto and Montreal?
Thank you. Through the chair, as my colleague would know, Minister Sachs has been leading on this file quite very well from my perspective. We've heard from her a number of times, both in the House and throughout, and I think that I'll continue to rely on her
Thank you,
leadership
Minister.
as we move this forward.
Through the chair, if any province requests what BC did with respect to the legalization and open use of illicit drugs like fentanyl and crack, as the Minister of Families and Children, would you support this?
Thank you very much. Again, through the chair, I appreciate the question. Again, I will refer the fact that this is work that is being led not by myself, by Minister Sachs. I'm not going to disclose cabinet conversations, again, for obvious reasons.
Minister, you're the Minister for Children. You're the Minister for Children. So do you agree that open drug use in public spaces is dangerous for families and children, and that your government should never have allowed it? And will you commit today to never allow it again in another province or area?
Thank you very much. Through the chair, again, I appreciate the advocacy of my colleague here. I am here to speak about my file, about mains and estimates. Minister Sachs continues to lead when it comes to this issue.
Minister, you are the Minister for Families and Children, so are you saying that you do not speak up for families and children within your caucus, within your cabinet? I'll give you an example here. The RCMP in Campbell River, BC, and in Prince George, BC, seized thousands of prescription drug pills, many of which were diverted from BC government's Safe Supply program. Global News did an investigation where within half an hour in Vancouver, the journalist had acquired nearly 20 tablets of hydromorphone. The Vancouver Police Deputy Chief told Parliament last month that your government's funded hard drugs are ending up on the black market. Now, as the Minister for Children, have you taken any action on this government-supplied illicit drug diversion to protect children?
I would caution members to Standing Order 112 on relevancy to the matter before the committee. The committee is studying the supplementary estimates. Madam Minister, it's your discretion.
I feel I've already answered this question, Chair. Thank you.
Well, Minister, you are the Minister for Families and Children, and to be pushing this off is really unfortunate. You are the Minister for Families and Children.
We have point of your order.
Point of order, Chair. You just referenced a standing order. These matters can be raised at committee, but it has to be the relevant committee.
Thank you, Mr. Fragus. Ms. Gray, I will again remind you of Standing Order 11.2 and the relevancy of the subject matter before the committee. Ms. Gray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll let the minister know. I'm almost out of time here. That I speak to schools in my community quite often with students, and in fact, I've spoken to 6 classes in the last 6 months. And one class project that occurred where the teacher had students write questions about the most important things to the students, to me. And do you know what the top 2 items were? They were the equal amount as number 1, crime and drugs, and the other was affordability. So after 9 years of your government and you as Families and Children's Minister, this is your legacy, isn't it?
I'm not sure what the question is, but I will agree when it comes to affordability, and I will point to our Canada Child Benefit, providing families up to $7,000 each and every year per child in supporting them in raising their young families. I will point to a national childcare system that is achieving 50% savings in every province and territory and $10 a day in 8. This is thousands of dollars each and every month that families are saving, and that translates to better outcomes for their children, more dollars left at the end of the day, whether that's extra food, whether that's the new pair of shoes we know our kids need every other month. That's affordability. Those are the measures that we're taking.
Thank you.